You know that feeling, right? You order
Uh,
something online, you're excited, it arrives.
and it's just not quite it. Maybe something's missing.
Exactly. Or the color's off. It's frustrating, yeah. But what happens when that simple mismatch spirals? Like really spirals into a multi-year saga.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, involving multiple companies, explanations that keep changing, alleged legal threats, even accusations someone tampered with evidence.
Okay, that sounds like way more than just a frustrating return.
Yes.
That's a consumer's nightmare scenario.
It really is. And today, we're doing a deep dive into exactly that kind of situation, the complex, often infuriating world of online consumer disputes. We're focusing on a specific case from Thailand. It involves a mobile phone, a huge e-commerce platform, and just this web of contradictory claims.
Okay.
Our mission today is to sift through a pretty dense stack of evidence documents, chat logs, official reports, to figure out not just what happened, but why it actually matters for you, the online shopper.
Right. What are the takeaways? So where does this story begin?
Well, it starts with a consumer, Mr. Siklin Koichi. Back on November 11th, 2021, he ordered a phone.
Okay, what kind of phone?
A Xiaomi Redmi 10 global version. He bought it from the official Xiaomi TH store, but on the Lazada platform.
Lazada, yeah, the big Southeast Asian platform. And he expected something specific.
He did. He expected it to have NFC support, for contactless payments and stuff.
Right. Near-field communication. Pretty standard feature, especially on a phone labeled global version. Was it advertised that way?
Absolutely. The product catalog, the explicit advertising, even the order details image, they all clearly stated NFC support. No ambiguity there.
So the promise was clear. But when the phone arrived...
No NFC. The feature was just missing.
Okay, so a clear-cut case, you'd think. Product doesn't match the description. What did he do first?
Well, he immediately tried to return it. This was November 15th, 2021, just a few days after ordering.
Makes sense. And the store.
The Xiaomi TH store rejected the return request. They claimed the phone was authentic and not returnable. And then they stated flat out, NFC is not supported.
Whoa, hang on. They rejected it because it didn't have NFC, even though they advertised it with NFC.
Exactly. It's a direct contradiction right from the start. But hold on, it gets even more confusing.
Okay.
Because on the same day, in November 15th, Lazada's own AI chatbot, called Clio, it actually approved the return.
The AI approved it. How?
It classified the reason as wrong item, so the AI system seemed to recognize the mismatch.
Right, okay, so AI says yes, send it back.
But then, just over a week later, November 24th, the actual physical return gets processed by Lazada's QC team, their quality control.
Ah, the human element.
Right. And the QC team rejected the return. They said it does not comply with our return policy. And they just sent the phone back to Mr. Sikain.
So AI approves, humans reject. What was the QC team's reasoning? This sounds messy.
It is. The QC report from that day, November 24th, it's really bizarre. It states the reason for rejection was received item is as described advertised by seller.
That's the opposite of the problem. He complained because it wasn't as described.
Precisely. It directly contradicts Mr. Sikain's whole reason for return, which was received wrong item and, well, the chatbot's initial approval.
This really points to some kind of internal disconnect, doesn't it? Like different parts of the company not talking to each other or maybe different priorities. The QC team just ignored the core complaint about the missing feature.
It certainly looks that way, a breakdown in the process right at the start. So after this confusing rejection, what was the store's next move? Did their story change?
It did, sort of. About a month after the complaint, December 17th, 2021, the Xiaomi TH store sent him a chat message.
Okay.
They apologized for, and this is their word, misinformation regarding the NFC.
Misinformation, so an admission, kind of. But what did they do about it publicly?
That's the thing, nothing. They continued selling the product online, same incorrect listing, no public correction, no apology on the product page.
Wow. So a private message saying, oops, misinformation, but publicly, business as usual, still misleading potential buyers.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating here is how that explanation itself sort of evolved over time.
How so?
Well, in December 2021, it was misinformation, right?
Okay.
Or gohu in Japanese, which implies maybe a mistake in reporting. But by June 2023, in later communications, it had shifted slightly to misidentified information, maybe suggesting a misunderstanding.
Subtle shift. Still admitting an error, though.
Yes, but the formal, unambiguous admission took much longer. It wasn't until November 20th, 2023.
Nearly 2 years later.
Almost exactly 2 years after the purchase. Only then did they formally admit in writing Specifically in a report to the Thai Consumer Protection Committee, the OCPB,
Okay.
they quote, "This product does not have NFC system as stated." They finally called it what it was, a catalog error. The catalog error. 2 years to state the obvious. You mentioned Mr. Sekin kept questioning the delay, specifically that initial 35-day delay just to get the first misinformation apology. Yes, he pushed them on that repeatedly. Why 35 days for something that, could be checked by looking at their own product and listing in like an hour?
Did they ever give a straight answer?
Never. No clear, direct explanation for that initial delay. Instead, their responses were consistently evasive. They kept telling him to contact Xiaomi Thailand directly or contact Lazada support.
Ah, the classic runaround, shifting responsibility.
Precisely. It really shows that a private acknowledgement, even if it happens, doesn't mean much if the public deception continues, right?
No.
It doesn't solve the problem for anyone else.
Absolutely. It keeps the error contained, maybe limits their liability, but doesn't fix the root issue in the marketplace. And then things escalated beyond just poor customer service, didn't they? Tell us about this unilateral voucher.
Right. So fast forward a bit to February 1st, 2022. A lawyer representing Lazada, Ms. Agatre Ngam, contacted Mr. Sekin.
Okay.
Not directly, though. She sent a Lazada shopping voucher to his account via Facebook Messenger, of all things. And with it, she declared the case resolved.
She just declared it resolved. Without his agreement. He hadn't agreed to accept a voucher as settlement.
Apparently not. He hadn't consented. She just sent the voucher and said, done.
That sounds incredibly high-handed, almost coercive. And it didn't stop there, did it? The police got involved.
This is where it gets really troubling. Just a couple of weeks later, February 18th, 2022, the same Lazada lawyer filed a police report against Mr. Sekin at the Thong Lor police station in Bangkok.
Filed a report against him? For what?
Essentially threatening to sue him for damages because he hadn't returned the phone they initially refused to take back and then sent back to him.
Wait, what? That's circular logic. And was there anything else in that report?
Yes, and this is a major point of contention. The police report also claimed, falsely, according to Mr. Sekin, that he was demanding an additional 35,000 baht in compensation.
35,000 baht. Did he ever ask for that?
He vehemently denies it.
Yeah.
He says he never asked for any specific monetary compensation like that, and he'd never even met this lawyer in person.
Wow. So, a police report with threats and potentially false claims about compensation demands. What was the goal here, do you think?
Well, looking at the sequence of events, it strongly suggests a tactic, perhaps, to intimidate him, to pressure him into returning the phone, maybe dropping the complaint.
So they could get the phone back, maybe quietly remove it, and pretend the whole catalog error thing never happened. Avoid any wider fallout.
That's certainly one interpretation that fits the facts presented. By getting the phone back under duress, they potentially eliminate the primary evidence of the misleading advertisement.
It's pretty aggressive. And then actual evidence started to disappear. The chat logs.
Yes. This is another really concerning part. On March 18th, 2022, about a month after the police report incident, Mr. Sekin discovered something alarming.
What was it?
10 days of his chat history with the Xiaomi TH store, specifically from November 15th and November 24th, 2021, had been deleted.
November 15th to 24th. That's the exact period covering his initial return request, the AI approval, and the QC rejection. The most crucial part of the initial dispute.
Exactly. The core communication logs from the very start of the problem were just gone. Wiped from his chat record without his permission or knowledge.
Did the store admit to deleting them?
No. When confronted, the store denied deleting the chat history.
So crucial evidence vanishes from the platform's own system during a dispute involving the platform's lawyer, and the seller denies it. What does that suggest to you?
It raises serious questions about data integrity and transparency on the platform, doesn't it? When communications central to a dispute disappear, especially after legal threats have been made, it certainly doesn't look good. It points towards a potential attempt to control the narrative or hide inconvenient facts.
A potential cover-up, basically. And were there other strange things happening with the store's communication around this time?
There were some odd changes, yeah. Around March 19th, 2022 onwards, the store's chat avatar changed.
How so?
It went from a generic Lazada store icon to the actual Xiaomi brand logo.
Ah.
And the replies started frequently, including this automatic stamp saying, "Follow the store."
Any significance to that?
Well, combined with their responses, it seemed like an attempt to blur the lines. The store started telling Mr. Sekin they were just following Xiaomi's instructions.
Implying the main Xiaomi company was calling the shots.
Exactly. But here's the catch. Xiaomi, the actual corporation, never directly communicated with Mr. Sekin at all during this period.
So the store is pointing fingers upward, saying we're just following orders, but the entity they're pointing to isn't actually engaging.
Right. It looks like another potential tactic to shift responsibility, this time towards the manufacturer, while the store itself continued to essentially stonewall him.
So this stonewalling continued through 2022 and into 2023. What did that look like?
Pretty relentless, yeah. The store just kept repeating the same lines. Contact Xiaomi directly. Go to the police station yourself if you want to investigate the report. They refused, over and over, to explain that original 35-day delay or why the AI approval was overridden by the QC rejection.
And their tone changed, too.
Definitely. They started accusing him of things, of harassment, of making exaggerated claims. They even called him ignorant for not accepting the settlements they'd offered at various points.
Settlements? What were they offering?
It varied quite a bit. At one point, it was the original phone price, 4,788 Bay, plus a different phone that actually did have NFC. Later, they seem to have offered cash amounts, maybe between 10,000 and 20,000 Bay, though the details are a bit murky.
But he didn't accept these.
No. It seems he felt it wasn't just about getting a phone or some money, but about the principle, the misleading ad, the poor handling, the alleged intimidation, the lack of accountability.
Right. And the store's response to his refusal.
They basically started saying things like, we can no longer take any action, and even, we don't know how to talk to you anymore. Essentially trying to shut down the conversation entirely.
Just wishing he would go away. But he didn't, did he? He took it further.
He absolutely did not go away. He escalated it formally to the Thai Consumer Protection Committee, the OCPP. There were official subcommittee meetings held to discuss his case in January and June of 2023.
So bringing in the official consumer watchdog, did that make a
It
difference?
seems it did, eventually, because it was in a formal written report submitted to the OCPB on November 20th, 2023, that the Xiaomi TH store finally, officially, unambiguously admitted the phone didn't have NFC and confirmed it was their catalog error.
So persistence through the official channels finally forced that concrete admission on paper after nearly 2 years.
Exactly. A huge amount of effort for something that should have been simple.
But the saga still wasn't quite over, was it? There was another twist involving his Lazada account itself.
A pretty shocking one, actually. On July 5th, 2024, so well after the OCPB admission, Mr. Sekin found his entire Lazada account had been closed.
Closed, just like that. Any warning?
No prior notice,
Yeah.
according to him. Account just shut down. And get this, that voucher the lawyer had unilaterally sent him back in 2022.
The one she declared resolved the case with.
That one, it was confiscated, taken back. And all his chat logs with the store, including any that might have remained, also deleted, along with the account closure.
Wait. They closed his account, took back the settlement voucher they'd forced on him, and wiped the records? What does that even achieve?
It's almost self-defeating, isn't it?
Yeah.
By confiscating the voucher, they completely invalidated their own lawyer's earlier declaration that the case was resolved. They effectively undid their own supposed settlement.
It makes no logical sense from a resolution perspective. It seems almost punitive. Or maybe just chaotic internal processes again.
Could be either, or both. It certainly highlights a very dysfunctional approach to resolving a consumer complaint, even one that had already been acknowledged as valid before a government body.
So after all of that, the runaround, the threats, the evidence issues, the account closure, was there ever a final, genuine resolution for Mr. Sekin?
It seems so, finally. But it took even longer. We're talking March 11th, 2025.
Over 3 years after he first bought the phone.
Over 3 years, yes. On that date, Lazada's customer care team contacted him. They said they had reviewed his complaint again, and they acknowledged that the product description mismatched the original SIN, if you will, may constitute misleading advertising. That's a significant admission from Lazada itself.
Okay, that's big. What else?
They confirmed his refund had finally been processed, and crucially, they stated that they had suspended the sale of the product in question from that specific store.
So they finally stopped the store from selling that misleadingly advertised phone.
Apparently so. They also offered a more general acknowledgement of the issue and promised to improve product standards on their platform overall.
A resolution, then. But incredibly hard one. What does this whole long, frankly exhausting journey tell us? What are the deeper implications here?
Well, first off, it screams systemic failure, doesn't it? It wasn't just one thing or one entity.
Right. You had the seller, the Xiaomi TH store, starting with the catalog error, then alleged concealment, denial, shifting blame.
Then you had Lazada, the platform. Their own systems gave contradictory answers, the AI versus QC. Their support seemed inconsistent. And then the really serious allegations involving their lawyer, the coercive voucher, the police report with alleged false claims, the potential evidence deletion.
Yeah, their responsibility as the platform, the marketplace operator, seems huge here, especially allowing the misleading ad to persist for so long, and then the account closure and voucher confiscation just adds another layer.
Absolutely. And finally, you have Xiaomi, the brand. They're kind of in the background, but implicated because the store used their name, claimed to follow their instructions, and presumably provided the initial product info. Yet they seemed absent from direct resolution efforts for a very long time.
So failures at the seller level, the platform level, and maybe a lack of oversight at the brand level, it really highlights how vulnerable a consumer can be, doesn't it?
Incredibly vulnerable. This case just underscores how difficult, how draining it can be for one person to fight these complex corporate structures. Mr. Seekine faced years of stress, huge time investment, legal threats, all for simply trying to get what was advertised.
It makes you think, like we said before, how many people just give up? The sheer effort involved is immense.
Exactly. And that's why his persistence and meticulous record keeping are so noteworthy. He documented everything. He didn't back down from the stonewalling. He escalated through official channels. Without that, this likely would have just fizzled out with him being ignored or intimidated into silence.
It really drives home the importance of keeping every email, every chat log, every screenshot when you're dealing with an online dispute.
Absolutely critical, because the platform or seller might control the official record within their system, as we saw with the deleted chats. Your own independent records are vital.
What's also fascinating, though, is that final admission from Lazada in March 2025. It took forever, but it did come.
It did. And it suggests that persistent documented pressure, especially when using formal consumer protection mechanisms, can eventually work, even against large corporations. But the time and emotional cost involved, it raises serious questions about access to justice for the average consumer.
True. Is it really justice if it takes 3 years and that much effort for a simple case of a missing feature? The impact on consumer trust must be significant when things like this happen.
It has to be. It damages trust not only in the specific seller, but in the platform that hosts them, and to some extent the brand involved.
So we've really dug deep into this multi-year online shopping nightmare. It started with a simple product mismatch, no NFC, and blew up into this maze of corporate blame shifting, legal threats, evidence questions, and finally, this very delayed resolution.
Yeah, it shows that being a savvy online shopper today isn't just about comparing prices or reading reviews. It's also about understanding the potential complexities of what happens when things go wrong. The dispute resolution process itself can become the main battleground.
It really highlights the need for vigilance, doesn't it? Keeping those records, knowing your basic consumer rights, and being prepared to persist if you're genuinely in the right.
Absolutely. So maybe the final thought for you listening is this. How might your own approach to online purchases change? Knowing these layers of potential complexity, knowing that a simple transaction could unfold into something like this.
It's definitely something to consider, isn't it? Every single time you click that buy button,